Hello, my name is Cruz,
And I am Monica.
and this is the Convex Lobsters podcast. Today we're going to talk about the new book of Jordan B. Peterson, Beyond Order 12 Moral Rules for Life. We're going to talk chapter by chapter. So let's go to rule number 1. Do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievements.
First of all, it's important to remember that this book, especially, is a continuation of the 12 Rules for Life and Antidote to Chaos. So Jordan Peterson already worked out about more rules for making some kind of organization in your life and trying to make things better, or maybe think about your life and the way you're doing this. So Beyond Order is like 12 more rules. So
Yeah, and there was a main theme in the first 12 rules that was avoiding the chaos. So that's why the subtitle
exactly.
was an antidote to chaos. And then this is how too much order can destroy things in your life as well. And if you look at the colors of the book, the first one was white and this one is black. So he said he did it to make the balance between them, like yin and yang symbol. It's a symbolic thing.
And
So
he works with this symbol a lot, even in his first book, Maps of Meaning, which is more technical book. Jordan Peterson likes the symbologies about order and chaos. He works a lot of it. He works a lot with it.
yeah. So what do you think about this chapter, Monica?
Yeah, actually, I really appreciate the way Peterson works with this two institutions, that is like social institution and creative achievements, because just like the first book we talked lately, Beyond Order is something that you have to understand that if you stay in too much order, your life will start to ruin, not because you are deep in comfort, but because the things that happens in the world will start to come by and they will pass you. And seasons will pass you by, you know.
All
And
right, you will not live as your maximum potential. Maybe that's
yes,
one tragedy.
yes, you won't try harder to harder enough to something like develop skills, try new things, try new skills, try new job, new.
And but he talks this with the individual and the group. And one of the first things that got my attention was in the beginning. He says that sanity is a social institution, and he begins talking about Freud and Jung and how they focus on the individual psyche, but they never told much about the role of the community in the maintenance of the personal mental health.
Yes, perfect. I think Peterson works in some kind of a good reflection about when you are alone, whatever your mind think, and whatever you want to say, you can do it. But when you are involved with other people, and that's the important, how important it is, you be part of some kind of a group or some kind of a social group. Yes, I think this way is better, because when you talk things and you say something wrong or something bad or you misbehave, people around will react to your speech. So if it is a bad reaction, you can distinguish it right at time, you know, and you can avoid this kind of behavior, and you can stop doing those things. You can learn from the other's reaction.
Right, and he says here that a child with at least one close friend is much more likely to suffer later psychological problems, whether it's depressive, anxious, or antisocial sorts. And the friends that have and the children that have more friends generally suffer less of these things in later life.
And that's something interesting I notice. Uh, Probably I can notice that more in like teenagers or uh, very young people, that it's common to see people talking about, oh, I have my own personality, so I don't care about uh, others' opinion, you know. And you see in this chapter how bad it is, you know, how
Yeah, because you will be always a reflection of the ones that you live with, this society itself, because when you interact with others, it kind of molds who you are in some way, at least.
yeah, it's destructive if you think that all alone, you can build your own personality. You know, all right, you can have your own personality. You can have a strong personality, like strong opinions or something like that. But you ignore everyone around you. It's something bad. It's something that can lead you to a huge chaos.
Yeah, and he talks about about hierarchy as well as in the first chapter of the first 12 rules. So, and he talks about hierarchy as well as in the first book, in the first chapter of the first 12 rules. He talks a lot of hierarchy, and in this one, he
Yes.
talks about this.
Yes, and I think it's nice to see that he makes some kind of differential about authority and power. Yes. So, in my words, yes, authority is something like you can detect on people. You know, let me be more practical. If I'm going to a doctor because I feel ill, he to me he's authority. You know,
Yeah,
he don't need to put any kind of pressure on me. He don't need to put any kind of pointing fingers to say to make his opinion correct. I trust his opinion because for me he's authority.
yeah,
Yes.
you would follow him voluntarily because of his competence.
Exactly, and of course doesn't mean that he can't he won't make any kind of mistake. He can, you know. It
Yeah.
will be very bad to me, of course, but it will be on time to me change my opinion about his authority. So, but in the first place, let me be more practical. Life is covered all over the place for problems, you know, with problems. So you have a lot of problems to solve in your life, and probably you won't be able to solve all of them alone. You will need help, and probably you will look for help um, with people who can deal with your problem. So those people are authorities. Yes,
Yeah.
but there is a difference between authority and power, because power is someone who puts his opinion in front of everything else and try to make it work.
So we can see this problem with the competence and power with institutions. So some people say we have to conserve the institutions at all costs, and some say we should maybe more revolutionary air that we have to overthrow
Change
them
all the time.
and change it because it's not well good anymore. So it's a very tiny line, because some institutions exist because of something that maybe we cannot understand right now, and they are very important, and they serve some kind of objective. But
Yes.
some got crooked, and they are really used to for power from people to like serve themselves in the expense of others.
Yes,
So
I think one of the main things that we see in our society about people who want to stay the way it is, or people who want to change it at all costs, is like the most principal institutions we have: family and religion.
yeah,
It's
but
very it's some kind of eternal fight. You know, people who wants to stay family and religion the way they are forever and ever, and people who wants to change it all the time, even trying to destruct those things.
Yeah, like destruct completely, not like
Yes,
not
not
even
changing,
doing
you're adapting. You
little
know,
changes. Yeah, yeah,
and that's a special stuff we can see. Let's pick up the religion problem, like as a social institution. How do you see your preacher? You see him as an authority, or you see him as a person guiding some kind of a power without any consent? How do you see him?
yeah,
I think it's probably what do you have to take a look at, because if you see him as an authority, I don't think it's a problem to your own condition as an individual to change it. You don't have to, if it's making good to you and if it's making good to your community. Of course, you have to adapt the stuffs
yeah,
when they are not working anymore. And at some point in the book, Peterson says something that I think is very interesting about how you trash talk your social institution you are living in, like your job, like your family, like your friends group, like your class, like your university, whatever. Sometimes it's better you stop trash talking them. Sometimes better you dealing with it like a very responsible person and trying to get better inside it. Of course, if it's very, very bad to you, so you should stop trash talking and quitting it. You know, like your
yeah,
job. If you can develop yourself in your job, what the hell are you doing there?
yeah. Saying no is a very important thing to develop. Like saying no to groups and things that it is not worth being in contact with. It will be it will make a lot of difference in the life of someone who
Exactly.
who realizes the power of saying no to things
And
that don't
sometimes
make good for them.
and sometimes people can't separate exactly the meaning of saying no and trash talking things. When you trash talk things, you are not changing anything. You're not changing yourself. You're not changing your condition. You were just, you know, making some kind of a fight inside your own social institution you are in.
Yeah,
And talking more about authority and power, which I think it's the most one of the most important parts of this book. I like when Peterson talk about ambitions as well, because we normally see people thinking about ambitions as a bad thing. You know, maybe
yeah,
they are maybe they are getting a little bit confused, because ambitions can lead to greed.
yeah,
Yeah, but I don't think it's the case. If you're an ambitious person, you're probably trying to develop yourself, and you're trying to get things better for you, for your family, or whatever. You're trying to get things better. Of course, that there is something you have to be cautious, because sometimes ambitions can lead you to a power that you cannot deal with, and you sometimes can hurt your social institution and people around.
and there's the personal and social spectrum of the things you do as well. As some people that is ambitious and go there and become CEO of some big company, and he dedicates like his life for this company and work a lot and 70 hours of week of a
Mm-hmm.
week.
Yes.
He is generating wealth for the society. He's doing good for the society. But maybe if he don't take care of himself, he will sacrifice his health and his time to live with the people he loves. So that's more that's a bigger thing that we can see in the Jordan Peterson, is about the balance of things, the balance between chaos and order, and the things in your life. If you go too much in one side, it will the price will be paid in other sides of your life. So that's the importance of balance as well.
Yes, that's correct. Because if you're trying to change everything every time and you can't take a break to appreciate what you achieve already, probably you will lead yourself to loneliness and to some place where you don't understand completely. Like I think that's important because when you are under too much order, you probably know everything around you, but when comes anything new, any problem for you to solve, you won't be ready. You understand? But when
Yeah,
you try to change everything every time, when you try to uh, explorate the world without taking a break, you can't have order, any kind of order, so you can't organize your life.
yeah, that's right.
Taking a little bit further, I think one of the figures Jordan Peterson uses in the book on this chapter, it's the figure of the fool, the beginner, and
Yeah,
I really appreciate the way he uses this image because the fool actually is everyone. The fool is me. The fool is you.
right.
Everyone is a fool, and some part of your life. When you go to the college or when you go to the university and you start taking classes uh, of something you want to become a professional, you start as a fool.
Yeah,
So you will make a lot of mistakes and you will be some kind of silly in the beginning of the process. But I think that's an important point for you to understand. Uh, Basically, the principles of having someone as an authority, because you have to trust someone to teach you things. You know?
that's right. You are the fool, you are the beginner, and then you know where you want to be, who you want to be, and you have to recur of this higher people in the hierarchy, and they will lead you to the way you want to go.
Yes, yes. And I think it's some kind of curiosity. How do you see a fool? Like the 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 properties of the fool, the characteristics.
The fool is the guy that make jokes and doesn't know much about things. I don't know. It's like the Joker.
Yeah, the funny guy.
Yeah,
He comes to a group of people and he starts making joke, even if he is being a pain in the ass.
yeah,
Yeah. And you see how the image of the fool, it fits perfectly in this chapter because remember when we talk about people, someone who is not so sociable, and so he cannot taste when someone reproves his behavior, and
yeah,
he doesn't understand how bad his action was. But
yeah,
the fool is like this, you are not used to um, taking conversations with lots of people. You're not used to get around with lots of people. You're not used to have a lot of friends. So when you start to live in this, you have to fail to understand the process, the dynamic of the friendship or the working groups.
yeah. Of course, and everybody started small, ignorant, and then with the right path become a master.
Exactly. And it's important to understand that the fool is more likely to be someone eternally in the order space, and if he doesn't try to fail. I don't think it's the most correct stuff to say, but if he doesn't try to do things and to fail, he will never reach this balance beyond order,
Right,
between chaos and order.
right. Of course, and there's important, very important thing about you try and fail, because one that will strive will be the one that tries, fails, and keep trying until he do the right thing. A lot of success histories is about it, and people who tried a lot and failed a lot.
Yes, and it's important to see that an authority was once a fool.
Right.
You know, you will never become some master of something without failing or without trying or without learning.
Yeah. And Nassim Taleb, in his book Black Swan, he talks about this in comparing societies, and he compares USA with Japan, and he said like the creativity things are creativity big companies are usually in United States because of their culture of trying to do things and fail and try again, and it doesn't matter. And he says like in Japan there's the much weight on the failure,
The failure.
and people feel ashamed of failing so much then, and the society becomes more uh, like frozen. I don't know how to say it, like more without
Old.
this, yeah, without these changes and innovation that a society like United States have more.
Yeah, I think it's a good point you made, because you see how in Japan, at least, the tradition is very strong.
Yeah.
I think that's the comparative we need when we're talking about social institutions.
All
In
right.
the very end of the chapter, Peterson says that uh, a creative achievement breaking a rule becomes a rule. So every rule was once a creative achievement. And when you don't have anymore those creative achievements, you start to make this kind of too much order. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and then
so
societies don't go forward like the.
exactly. And of course, you can say Japan is a very developed country, but you can't say they are evolving all the time, because
Yeah,
there's too many tradition.
yeah,
I'm
then
not
they're
saying
not
it
open for changes as much as other countries. But this
exactly.
is not a direct critic. There are some positive things about the all the tradition and
Absolutely.
things, but we have to compare things and see the positive and negative sides of so much of this things.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot say it's a bad thing, because I've never been in Japan, and I've never been actually in Asia, so I cannot say how it affects individually someone who lives in there.
Yeah.
But we can see from outside how many problems, social problems, Japan has, like
Right.
uh, like the suicidal ratio, and it is a big problem. The condition of honor they have. This is a huge family pressure about honor, being a honorable person.
Yeah. So, thank you today for being with us. Please follow, subscribe, comment, and see you in the next chapter. Bye bye.
Goodbye.